for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side, going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Oh, yes, Buckeye fans. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, and that means one thing here on the Buckeye Show. It is a DeVere Day, and it's actually going to be a DeVere Day for the rest of the week, I'm hearing.
Yes, I'm closing out the week, man. What's up, Bake? What's up, Columbus, man? I get excited every time I get here. I don't know why, but when I wake up, I'm like, it's Wednesday. And then also I got an adult league game tomorrow, so it's pre-game. It's night before the game for me.
Adult league basketball?
Yeah, man. I play on Saturdays. I mean, I play on Thursdays every week.
All right.
Yeah, I used to play on Saturdays. Sorry about that.
Is it going to be a late game tomorrow then? Because you're going to be here from 6 to 8.
Oh, well, you know what? I probably might miss it. If it's a 6, if it's a 6 or 7, I just had that schedule clash, so we'll figure it out, man.
We need to check the schedule on this adult league game.
If I miss it, it'll be all right. This is a good replacement.
Glad to have you along on the Buckeye Show, though. Filling in for Timmy Hall, I am Ryan Baker. Again, he is the grade 8 former Buckeye DeVere Posey. You heard Bodie Wells on the update there. He is on the other side of the glass. I'm going to make a proclamation here.
What's that?
Now, you always, whenever I'm around you, you are always smelling fresh and clean. And Common Man is always commenting on me and saying that I smell fresh, like laundry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that you and I, when we are together, we are the best smelling show on the fan.
This studio smells the best it could possibly smelled all day. I know it didn't smell good with Matty Ice and Roth, and so it's smelling good today.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, we've got to be the best smelling show on the fan. So
absolutely.
I'm going to make that proclamation right now. DeVere, I am excited that we get to do this today. It's been a while that you and I have been able to do this, but later on in the show, I'm going to have you go through this Ohio State wide receiver room because there's a lot of hype about this wide receiver room, and we know there's tons of talent.
Yep.
But outside of Emeka Egbuka,
there's tons of talent, not a lot of stats.
Yeah, we haven't seen any production outside of Emeka for the most part from these guys. So I'm going to have you go through this receiver room, kind of break it down and what you think about each of these guys and what we're going to see from them this year. The Ohio State sideline, we found out, is going to be more crowded this year. We'll tell you about that coming up in a little bit. James Laurinaitis had some interesting comments after the Roosters golf outing, and we're going to let you hear those. And, DeVere, I didn't think it was possible for me to love James Laurinaitis being back at Ohio State on this staff more than I already did. But he made me fall in love with him even more with these comments.
So was this before they teed off or after they teed off?
This was after. He was talking to Dom Taberry of 10 TV.
After they teed off at a Roosters golf event?
No, it was good. It was good. So none of that. None of that.
See what James had to say.
Also, a couple of Buckeyes were named top freshmen to watch this season. We'll go through that list and let you know who those were. Of course, we will go through the college football world with the College Football Pulse at 7 o'clock. We'll wrap up the show with some hashtag Buckeyes. But DeVere, so the last 2 days for the Buckeye Show, I've hosted with Austin Ward and I've hosted with Tyvis. It was a big recruiting weekend for Ohio State. It started off Friday with the announcement that Bodpin Miller, in-state wide receiver, had committed. Then Westerville North, Jake Cook, an offensive lineman, committed on Saturday. Then we found out on Monday that Zion Grady was coming here. In the past 2 days, I've gotten Austin and Tyvis's thoughts on that. I want to get your thoughts on all of them. Let's start with Bodpin Miller. Yep. This is such an interesting case with Bodpin because he's a kid that plays quarterback in high school. And for all accounts and purposes, he's going to continue to play quarterback this year. But the last 4 months or so, he's been working out on the camp scene with wide receivers. He's 6'4", 180 pounds. He's gotten his 40 in a year from a 4.6 or 7 to a 4.44 is what he ran at Ohio State this week. A good basketball player, can jump as high as anyone, they say. He's a 3-star, but didn't even have a ranking on 24/7 Sports because nobody's recruiting this kid as a quarterback. He's going to come in as a wide receiver. Just some of your thoughts on Bodpin Miller and a kid that really hasn't played the position.
Well, it's easy when you watch his camp highlights, Bake, that this kid can play the wide receiver position. And a lot of this thing, you got to really go to potential. And you think about a guy like Teddy Gann, who played quarterback in high school, and just what his potential was at wide receiver, getting coached by Darrell Hazel, and what the potential for Bodpin Miller could be getting coached by a student of Darrell Hazel and Brian Hartline, right? And so the thing that first pops up to my mind is, holy crap, what is you see what Hartline was on in terms of Garrett Wilson, Jasmine Smith-Njigba, and Emeka Buka, Marvin Harrison. And it's like, hats off, those guys are great. Size and stature really doesn't jump off the paper to you. But like
6'4", 6'4", that's a big receiver.
Well, I'm saying with those groups of recruits.
Yeah, we got you.
That Hartline had. Now, let's look at 24 and 25. And this dude Hartline, you're a menace. Because you got a 6'4" Bodpin Miller. You got a 6'4" Jeremiah Smith. You got a 6'5" Chris Henry Jr., and you got a 6'3" Carnell Tate. This is going to be one of the biggest wide receiver units in the entire country, in all of college football. And they're all going to be able to run every single route in 2 years, and they're all possibly could be sharing the field together. And you talking about just closing your eyes, and you got a guy like Tavian Sinclair coming in, just like what this passing attack can be, how we'll tower over people, overpower people. You could look at a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. with his size and stature and the way he's able to move. A lot of people don't realize that he's 6'4". And so that these guys will be able to move that way. And so when I think of Bodpin Miller, I just think of this group as a collective and where we're heading, and the size and speed is absolutely scary. And I'll say it again, Hartline, you're a menace.
Then we got the news that Jake Cook, he's an offensive tackle at Westerville North.
Yep.
They're recruiting him as
last year.
An interior lineman, a center, actually, is what they're saying he's going to be. He's a kid, again, he's played tackle this year, his senior year. He says he's going to play all 5 positions on the offensive line to get that experience. What I love about this is an Ohio kid that wanted nothing more than to be a Buckeye and worked his tail off, changed his footwork, his technique, lost over 40 pounds, and finally got that call and got that offer. And he was able to announce it to his dad on Father's Day. It's just a pretty cool story.
Man, that's amazing, man. Hats off to him. And we actually saw him play last year when we did the Westerville North game. And was able to really see his size and speed and his ability to be physical. And I just thought, he kind of dominated at his position. And so just to have a Central Ohio kid get that offer, it just means a little bit more. And I really love what Day has been doing, really building that white picket fence around the state of Ohio and keeping the talent home. I think in the last 2 to 3 classes, he's made an intention to do that, and it's really showing up. And I think you just get that added motivation with Ohio guys.
I love that you talked about that because you played for a head coach in Jim Tressel, that the state of Ohio was on lockdown. If you were the best players in the state of Ohio, you were coming to Ohio State. Then Urban Meyer came in, and he wanted the best players in the country. He didn't care where they were from. And we've seen that kind of continue a little bit with Ryan Day. But this year, 7 of their 19 for the 2025 class are Ohio kids. You've got the number 1 quarterback in the state in Tavian St. Clair. You've got the number 1 running back in the state in Bo Jackson from Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph. You've got the number 1 offensive lineman in the state in Carter Lowe from Toledo Whitmer. We talked about Jake Cook. He's the number 1 interior offensive line recruit in the state of Ohio for that year. And then we also heard you got Bodpin Miller. We talked about him. They've also offered Preston Bowman, a Pickerington North kid who I want to talk to you about here in a second. I just love that, especially in this era of a transfer portal, NIL era, I think it's more important than ever to have kids that really want to play for your school here. And chances are, if you grew up in the state of Ohio, you've always wanted to be a Buckeye.
Absolutely. And then just as a kid, you play a game, and even for me, and I'm speaking from my perspective, maybe Ohio State is too big for me, right? You had that feeling, and then when they come knocking and you really say, hey, I got the potential to possibly be a Buckeye, I can't say no to this. And then what it means for life after the game, what it means for business, what it means for, hell, what I'm doing now, on the Buckeye Show, a kid from Ohio. So it's more than football. It's about your future. And, college is the most important decision you make. And for Ohio kids, it's an added incentive to go to Ohio State for those reasons.
And then Larry Johnson, a lot of people have been shoveling dirt on his grave for the past couple years.
Not me.
He continues to get big-time recruits.
Not
Zion Grady, the number 6 edge rusher in the class, number 66 overall, former Alabama committed to the Buckeyes. That's 2 of the top 6 edge rushers in this class committed to Ohio State.
Yeah, Larry Johnson has just been doing his thing and quietly has, honestly, the best resume on the coaching staff in terms of players he's directly coached and just his ripple effect over decades, babe. We're talking about decades of talent development. Time. So, to me, you really can't question anything he's been doing. You really can't question his resume, his ability to recruit, and his ability to develop talent overall. I mean, yes, his Ohio State recruits have been awesome, but you can even go back to Penn State and the Jordan Mabins and Navarro Bowmans, the guys that he's developed on the edge and interior defensive lineman, the Devin Stills of the world. He's been doing it in multiple universities at a very high level.
Real quick before we go to break, I mentioned they offered Pickerington North's Preston Bowman. You live out in that area.
Yeah, I do.
You know Kenny Stafford, who trains Preston Bowman. Uh-huh. He is a game breaker. He's a big play receiver for Pickerington North. Just your thoughts on that offer. And he committed to Kentucky, but do they have a chance to get him?
Yeah, I really feel like, when Ohio State comes into the picture, Preston, I hope you're listening, that you really reconsider, am I wanting to go down to Lexington and compete in the SEC at a school like Kentucky? Or do you want to play at the Ohio State, stay home, where your name is strong and where you can come and really be, a legend here in Central Ohio? And, his name is a buzz name in Pickerington out my way. Like when you're talking about guys who've had big games, I think last year he went on a streak for 100-yard games. I think he had 4, or he had a crazy run at I don't know the exact number.
I don't either, but I know he had 43 catches for over 700 yards and 9 touchdowns last year, and a lot of those touchdowns were over 30 yards.
Yeah, and that's crazy, run after catch ability. So, and then I've heard a lot about him, obviously from my good friend Kenny Stafford, who is one of the best trainers in Central Ohio and in Ohio, footwork god. And so I know he has the right technique and he has also the right work ethic, and that's backed by my guy Kenny Stafford, who's told me a lot about him.
DeVere, we talked about the comments James Laurinaitis made earlier this week to 10 TV's Dom Taberry. I didn't think I could be any happier having him here, but he took it to a whole nother level. We'll let you hear those next. It's the Buckeye Show. Ryan Baker in for Timmy Hall. DeVere Posey, 97.1 The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Libman makes a difference. The Libman Mock Crew is a part of our winning team. The Libman Mock Crew makes sure the hardwood is safe and clean for the players every game at the Schottenstein Center. No matter what kind of flooring you have at your home court, Libman has the tools to keep it clean. Our mops, brooms, and brushes are proudly family made in the USA. Visit Libman.com to see our whole lineup and for a store locator. That's Libman.com. Libman, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Did the pandemic eliminate quality customer service? Well, many places it did, but not here at Heartland Bank. Imagine getting top quality service and good advice as well to help you down life's road. It's community banking, and it's alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb, CEO. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The
The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call The Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices. And when you download the Kroger app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. And with a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. So you can always save big every day with our savings and rewards. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
And now we're on our way with Coda, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Whether it's game day or every day, Coda moves Buckeyes fans down the line toward victory. Download the Transit app today for an easy way to plan and pay for your next trip. Visit coda.com/transit app to learn more.
Hi, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Director of Athletics. Ohio State Athletics and Cardinal Health know how important diversity, equity, and inclusion are to the success of our community, employees, and student athletes. And we believe an equitable culture creates a community that attracts and retains the very best. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeye-inclusion to learn more and join us as we educate and celebrate the value of diversity and inclusion.
Join all your hockey friends with a Blue Jackets draft special.
Friday, June 28th at 7 p.m.
What will the Jackets do with the fourth pick? How much money will Jody Shelley lose in Vegas? All the important questions will be answered. The Fan.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Glow Fiber Business is now in Ohio, and your business is our priority. Glow Fiber delivers reliably fast, custom, and prepackaged internet plans to meet the growing needs of your business. And our dependable 24/7 personal support means your business stays connected. Glow Fiber is here, and we mean business. Find out more at 833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiberbusiness.com today. Glow Fiber Business is not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of clouds around, warm and humid, scattered showers and some stronger storms on this Wednesday. Temperatures holding in the upper 70s. Overnight showers and storms out, cooler weather back in, down to around 60 degrees by Thursday morning. Plenty of sunshine, light winds and low humidity Thursday afternoon with highs in the low 80s. With your Doppler 10 forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
The home of Big Ten championships and future first rounders. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Yes, you are. Hump Day edition of the Buckeye Show. It's a DeVere day. Ryan Baker in for Timmy Hall. DeVere Posey, the Great Eight, here as well. Bodie Wells with you. DeVere, this Ohio State team, this offseason has been just about perfect. I don't know how it could be any better, honestly, for Ryan Day and the crew. And this roster, we've heard Urban Meyer come out, say it may be one of the most talented ever. We've heard Jim Tressel say the same thing. I don't think there's any doubt that this Ohio State roster, on paper, if it's not the best roster in the country, it's number 2, right?
Yeah. So I met Will Smith before he passed in Miami, actually. Well, I actually met him in Dallas at the national championship game, and then I met him in Miami. And he had some good words of advice for me. He told me, anytime somebody gives you a compliment, you should take it as disrespect. And I was just like baffled by that. I was like, Will, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you should expect those things from yourself. Like, you shouldn't, like, you should be trying to reach the highest heights. And so I think of his comment when I'm talking about this team because, yeah, for all offseason, we've been telling this team how great they are. And, I'm the one guy that's looking at these guys like, hey, like, don't listen to none of that crap. Like, you guys still have work to do. You guys still have to get better. You guys still have to take a mindset that you need to improve. And now, at the same time, yes, this is one of the best rosters. Absolutely. It has some of the most NFL talent. Absolutely. This team can theoretically win an athlon preseason national championship. But those guys in those position rooms know that none of that stuff means jack crap at the end of November. So for this roster to be coming in this year, I think the mindset totally is focused on how can I get better each day? How can I learn from my mistakes yesterday? And how can I a constant improving mindset until the ball drops and the confetti's on the ground?
Well, when you have a coach on staff like James Laurinaitis, who pretty much just echoed exactly what you said, I think it's easy for Ohio State to keep that mindset and know that it's not always the most talented teams that win. This was James earlier this week at the Roosters golf outing talking to 10 TV's Dom Taberry about this Buckeye team.
Yeah, I remember going into 2006 ranked number 1 in the country. There is pressure with that, but pressure is a privilege, so you have to be able to go and attack it, and you have to, we keep hearing about, we're a really talented team. Talent doesn't win national championships. I think some of the most talented teams in Ohio State history never won it all. I think about the 2005 team that I was a part of was the most talented team out of the 4 years that I was at Ohio State. You think about 15, probably more talented than 14. You think about 2019. So there's been a lot of talented teams that didn't, host a national championship. For us, we have to be the toughest team, and I think that's physically and mentally. There's going to come games, as you know, Dom, where things aren't going well, and you just got to find a way to get through and to win those things, and at the end, stay healthy and hopefully have a chance to win it all.
God, that's awesome. Just when you're hearing all these things and you think, man, we're good. We can do this. You get your coach who's been there, played on talented teams, been behind players that won national championships. Yes. Yeah. And he says, hey, it's not always the most talented team. And you know what else I love that he said in there? We've got to be the toughest team. And I'm not so sure Ohio State the past few years, especially in that game against that team up north, has been the toughest team.
Yeah. And the two words he used to describe toughest is mentally and physically. And there will be moments. There will be moments where this team will be tested as good as they are. There will be teams that wants to come in and knock off this great talented team. And because you're so good, not only are we as media covering it, it's national news. It's something that everybody knows, Bake. And so on top of that, you're going to get everybody's best effort on Saturdays. Nobody is laying down for the 2024 Ohio State Buckeyes. No, they're rising up to play them. And so having that mental toughness and what James is speaking about is something that will need to be had, not just in each game, but every down, even after wins, when you got to get back and work on the tough part after, we're not going to say losses, but after you might lose a rep, you got to get back. So that part is, I would honestly say, is the key.
And who better to hear that from than somebody who, like we said, played at Ohio State, one of the best ever to play his position at Ohio State, 2 back-to-back national championship games appearances. It made me love James Laurinaitis even more. And then that comes on the heels of Ryan Day last week when everybody was talking about Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer saying how talented this team was. I love this that Ryan Day said about, we're talented, but it's not just that.
But I will say this about this team. Well, we've been talented. There's been times in the past we've been talented. I don't know since I've been here if we've been this talented and this experienced together with guys that have played a lot of football, 4th and 5th year guys, and that does matter.
That experience factor, to me, is the biggest difference for this team this year, because a lot of these guys, they've been on teams that were supposedly the most talented last year, supposedly the most talented in 22 when they come up just short in the national championship game. Not only were they there, but a lot of these guys played prominent roles on those teams. So they know as well from recent experience that it's not always the most talented team that wins.
Yeah, honestly, experience is a cheat code, Bake. In this day and age, in this transfer portal world, having 4th and 5th year guys who have NFL talent is a cheat code. I mean, you just kind of look at the blueprint of Michigan last year. They were the oldest team in the playoffs, and they ran through the playoffs. And they also have had negative experiences. What this Buckeye team has had, they've had negative experiences. They've had Peach Bowls that they should have, that they felt like they played their great games and they were young guys and lost. And I think Emeka Egbuka was a sophomore playing in that game. You have, Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer. Those guys started in that game as young guys with the opportunity to go to the national championship versus a 2-time defending national championship. You lose to Michigan twice, and then one of those teams goes on to become a national champion. You know how close you are. You know how that experience that's ended up negative for us this year is honestly the best year for it to be positive. And you can use that experience. Like, having experienced it and using experience are two different things. And I think these guys are ready to just, and I don't say this lightly, like, I really feel like it's going to be like nasty wins. Like you take the mop and you sweep the floor types of wins. Like it's gonna have some rage behind it. And I think these guys have had a lot of that stuff pent up. And I mean, I'll be honest, this is football we're talking about. These guys are ready to, knock the crap out of some people.
I hope you're right, and I hope that translates into second halves where we get to see some of the younger guys, maybe some of the younger quarterbacks, get them experience so we don't end up in a position like we were in that Cotton Bowl last year where we've got a quarterback running out there who's really not ready at all.
What's that?
I don't know. It's something.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago. We forgot all about that.
Yeah,
I love though I love this offseason and the momentum this team has heading into the season. I wish it was the end of August already and we were getting to line up and play Akron because I can only imagine. I just hear that little snippet from James Laurinaitis and it makes me want to run through a wall.
You do?
I mean, I can't imagine these players that hear it every day. Now, we don't even need the helmet. Let's just go through. We're going to miss a couple weeks of work after that.
I'm about to headbutt my car door like Latimer in the program.
That also makes me more excited. James Laurinaitis is going to be hosting with Common Man tomorrow from 3 to 6 here on The Fan. That makes me excited to hear what he has to say.
He's coming in for a whole show?
A whole show tomorrow.
Dang, that's sweet.
Bone is out, so Laurinaitis is in with Common Man. That'll be pretty fun to watch. I can't wait to hear what he has to say tomorrow.
That's awesome.
With the Common Man. With the likes of James Laurinaitis, Tim Walton, of course, Jim Knowles now has this Buckeye defense rolling. There seems to be a renewed emphasis to Veer on recruiting the defensive side of the ball for the Buckeyes. We'll talk about that next. It's the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
When I'm not voicing Wendy's ads, I'm gaming. I stay up and fueled because Wendy's delivers late.
Are you recording a Wendy's ad? Come on!
Got 'em. Whatever you're up for, we're down. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Delivery Late Night. Open till midnight or later.
Hours and delivery availability may vary.
Want a great choice with great value? It's great to drive Honda and save thousands with low 1.9% financing. All your favorite Honda models are in stock. Save big on a great selection of cars, SUVs, and trucks, like the new 2024 Honda Ridgeline, now with low 1.9% financing. There's never been a better time to buy a new Honda. Search your local Honda dealer today. See dealer for financing details for well-qualified buyers. Offer ends 7/8/24.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great! Come on in. We'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply.
Hi, this is Ron Frost with Ohio Mulch, and here's to Ohio Mulch celebrating 40 years of making the community a greener and more beautiful place, one garden at a time. Don't miss out on the opportunities to elevate your outdoor space and to be part of a journey towards the next 40 successful years. Check out our promotions online at ohiomulch.com.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply. Cleaner, greener, better.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Jimmy walks up to the line. His credit card debt is calling a blitz. He signals to Upstart.com for an audible. Final play. Bike. Jimmy drops back. In a flash, he cuts over to a streaking Upstart.com with a no-cost rate check on a personal loan. He's wide open. An easy toss for Jimmy by finding a great rate in minutes. He applies, he's approved, and touchdown.
Tackle your credit card debt with a personal loan. Check your rate at Upstart.com today. That's Upstart.com. Loans are made by Upstart Lending Partners. Loan terms will be determined based on credit, income, and other information provided in your application. Not all applicants will be approved. And now we're on our way with COTA, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Whether it's game day or every day, COTA moves Buckeyes fans down the line toward victory. Download the Transit app today for an easy way to plan and pay for your next trip. Visit COTA.com/transit app to learn more.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The show that knows how to throw a big, giant Buckeye party. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Huge Buckeye party on this DeVere day. Ryan Baker in for Tim Hall. DeVere Posey to my right. Bodie Wells behind the glass. We're glad to have you along here on this Wednesday edition of the Buckeye Show. DeVere, I love that there seems to be a renewed emphasis for this Ohio State team and coaching staff on recruiting the defensive side of the ball here in the past couple of years, but especially this 2025 class. Our friends over at 11 Warriors did an article the other day about the defensive recruiting and how it ties it to better results on the field the past couple of years. And I think that can be true. You know, you see what somebody's telling you working on the field, and you know, hey, that could fit for me. But I also don't think it hurts when you have a Jim Knowles who's here in his defensive style. He's figured out what he wants to do, and he's recruited the guys for that. You have a Tim Walton who is like the Brian Hartline of the defensive side of the ball in recruiting secondary and cornerbacks. And then you bring in a guy like James Laurinaitis to help get those top linebackers. I'm sure it's a combination of the two. The defensive results on the field don't hurt. But when you have coaches like that that can go out and do the recruiting, I think it helps a lot.
Yeah, I think just having that NFL factor in terms specifically of Tim Walton and his time with the Jacksonville Jaguars and how he can prepare you. I mean, he literally drafted cornerbacks and had guys in his room that were, pros. And so he can tell you how to get to the next level. He's coached there. Laurinaitis, he can tell you how to play at all pro level. He's done it in the NFL. And so being able to have guys like that, just for me, like, I can imagine being a recruit and just sitting across the table and saying, hey, like, what do you want to do with your career? Like, is this something to where, is this an NIL grab? Do you want to develop as a player? And most recruits will say, nah, I want to go to the league. I mean, that's nice. But at the end of the day, like, I want the longevity and I want to be able to earn it. And so to have coaches like that are recruiting you, Big, it's hard to say no to these guys. And on top of that, just some of the dudes and the talent that they're going after, these guys have a different tick. They have like a different type of mindset to where, they want to be coached and they want to be put in situations that are competitive because they want their best stuff to go against the other best people in the country and in your room. So these guys are getting it done. And it has seemed like a renewed energy, right, as far as the defense of recruits. Like, hey, I don't know anything, man. Maybe the NIL dollars are going towards that side of the ball. Who knows? But you feel a different energy on the defensive side in terms of recruiting.
For sure. Right now, Ohio State currently holds commitments from a composite top 70 prospect in every defensive position group with 6 total defensive commitments from that echelon of high school seniors. Mm-hmm. If you look at the numbers from the past years, 0, 4, 4, 1, and 3 defensive prospects ranked among the top 70 players in the 24/7 composite rankings. You look at this class this year, of the top 9 ranked players in this class, 6 of them are on the defensive side of the ball, led by the number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks in the country, Devin Sanchez and Naheem Offord. Then you've got Fahim Delane, the number 2 safety in the class, Tarvis Alford, who is the number 5 linebacker in the class, and then, of course, the 2 edge rushers we've already talked about, Zahir Mathis and Zion Grady. That is impressive. And if you look at the last couple of classes, DeVere, in 2023, Malik Hartford was the number 4 rated prospect in Ohio State's class. Jason Moore was the number 6. Calvin Simpson Hunt was the number 7, and Caden McDonald was the number 10. So they had 4 of their top 10 in that class, but in that one, you've got Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Noah Rogers, a bunch of receivers at the top. And then if you look at last year's recruiting class, Edric Houston was the number 2. Aaron Scott was the number 3 in the class. Bryce West was number 6 in that class. So especially, we talked about Tim Walton, especially in that cornerback room the last couple of years. He's had 2 of the top 10 cornerbacks in the country in 23, 24, and now 25, and a chance to get another one in Dorian Brew as well. So Tim Walton has been a big part of this.
Yeah, he's on a tear right now. And there has been like a body type prototype that he's been going after. I mean, you talk about Ohio State's wide receiver room in the next 2 years, 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Tim Walton has been recruiting guys that are 6'1" and taller, 6'2" cornerbacks. And Bake, I always say this, I should have played corner because there's a lot of 6'3", 195, 205 receivers in the draft, but it's rare that you find 6'3" corners, 6'2" corners, 205. And so it looks like Tim Walton is looking for guys of that stature. And it's tough, like just going against that type of length and just in press coverage or even, defending the pass or top of the route, stuff like that. Tim Walton has an agenda here, and it's clear with the guy he's recruiting.
I've said this for a while, and I know I'm talking to one here. Yeah. It's awesome having these all-world 5-star receivers and having a receiver room that's just stacked.
So you feel like that's happening on the side of the ball now.
But unfortunately, wide receivers don't always win football games. Football games a lot of times are won in the trenches, and you know the old saying,
Wait, you believe that?
defense wins championships.
Hold on. This dude said some crazy stuff. You said wide receivers don't win games?
They're there. I mean, I'm not picking again. I'm not
Who's
picking
Patrick
on
Mahomes
you.
throwing to?
I get it. But if you look at Patrick Mahomes' wide receivers, in terms of the NFL, they're probably ranked pretty low in the.
Travis Kelce is a wide receiver.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. But I'm just saying he's ran through a plethora of wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Stephon Diggs is a great wide receiver, but teams keep getting rid of him for a reason, I think. And it's not a picking on the wide receiver position.
I just love the wide receiver. I didn't know that you had this vendetta against wide receivers.
I just love that it's spread out a little more now.
I'm learning that you think wide receivers are prima donnas. You think that we can be moved on from very quickly, and we don't win games. That hurts, babe.
I don't say that at all. And I would never change having Marvin Harrison here or you here or Emeka Egbuka.
I'm pretty sure Emeka Egbuka had 2 long passes in that Notre Dame drive.
He did. He's great. He's great. And we'll talk about him a little bit when you break down this wide receiver room. But I love to see that the defensive side of the ball, they're getting some of these top recruits now, just like they are on the offensive side of as well. Yeah. And again, I'm sure that the defensive play the past couple of years under Jim Knowles getting better.
Yeah.
And his style is a fun style of defense to play and adaptive. I'm sure that helps. But I also think getting these coaches in, the Tim Waltons, the Jarens Laurinaitis, the Matt Gurriers, I think we're going to start seeing that. And we know what Larry Johnson has done for years on that D line. I don't know which is more important, if they're equally important or what, but I just love seeing the defensive numbers going up.
No, it's very important. I mean, and honestly, Beck, it's needed. Like getting these top recruits on the defensive side of the ball, and what's important. I mean, we're plucking kids from Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Maryland. We're talking New Jersey, Philly. Like these are national defensive recruits that have an opportunity to go to a lot of other places. But what they're seeing here is they're seeing the Marshawn Lattimores, they're seeing the Denzel Wards, they're seeing the Kendall Fullers, they're seeing the Von Bells, and they're seeing people who have came before. And we kind of had a drop off there for a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to have these type of players with this type of talent coming here, and you get a Caleb Downs in place, like we're in position to return back to the top at DBU with these line of players. I mean, and one guy we don't even really mention who was a freshman All-American is Jermaine Matthews, who will be a starter here and will play in the league.
That guy.
Yeah, and he's just tough. And so the type of depth that we're building, it is starting to rival our wide receiver room. It's starting to rival our offensive power on the recruiting side. So I'm really excited about these 2 guys, Alford and Sanchez.
For sure. It's really fun. And then you throw in Dorian Brew, maybe coming here as well. It's exciting times. 24/7 put out a list of the top freshmen to watch this season in college football. 2 Buckeyes made the list. We'll tell you who next. It's the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Since 1897, the Byers Auto family of dealerships has been serving Central Ohio's transportation needs. When we first opened our doors, our vehicles were fueled by oats and hay, required saddles, not seatbelts, and had shoes instead of tires. Over 120 years later, Byers Auto is still family-owned and operated. Our goal is to provide the best selection, price, and service in Central Ohio. And it's all on one website, buyersauto.com.
Come see why it's better to buy from Byers.
Byers Auto is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Marathon has some great news about the number 5, so I'm going to say it 5 times in 5 different ways.
Join Marathon Rewards and earn up to $5 in rewards on your first visit. Join and earn 5 cents in rewards for every gallon you buy.
Join in as little as 5 seconds.
Join to make 5 friends jealous. Join and get high fives.
It's easy to sign up at the station or go to marathonrewards.com. By joining with your phone number, you are agreeing to receive recurring automated informational marketing SMS/MMS messages from Marathon. Consent not required for purchase. Messaging and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Director of Athletics. Ohio State Athletics and Cardinal Health know how important diversity, equity, and inclusion are to the success of our community, employees, and student athletes. And we believe an equitable culture creates a community that attracts and retains the very best. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeye-inclusion to learn more and join us as we educate and celebrate the value of diversity and inclusion.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
We go to war for you.
Every day people get into an accident. Every day people's lives change. Every day the insurance giants give you crumbs and call it dinner. I'm attorney Robert Scherger. Let us go to war for you.
WarForYou.com.
I joke around with my wife and call it my bionic knee.
But before Ernest became a patient with QC Kinetics, it was a different story.
I'd go to bed with my knee throbbing, heat, ice. I would get up in the middle of the night to get a drink or something, and I would just be hobbling.
He wasn't able to play on his rec basketball team or work in the yard. But QC Kinetics regenerative treatments turned around the situation without surgery or downtime, using Ernest's own healing properties to help restore his aching knee, now known as Ernest's bionic knee.
I am really happy because I am playing the game that I love so much, and I'm playing with my granddaughter, and I'm gardening, and I'm on my knees, and I'm jumping up. I have a 200-pound dog, and I'm playing with my dog.
Now Ernest is living his best life thanks to QC Kinetics, and so can you. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at MountainDewGaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Come play Skyline 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at SkylineChili.com/Coney Hunt.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Hating Michigan is our favorite national pastime. This is the Buckeye Show.
It is the Buckeye Show, and just a reminder, we are sponsored by our friends over at CareSource. Heard some words from James Laurinaitis earlier in the show. In case you missed that, you can always check out the Buckeye Show podcast. You can find it anywhere you get your audio. Just search Buckeye Show or 971 The Fan and make sure you like and subscribe. We're also on YouTube, and a couple people over on the YouTube chat, Devere, said that they are excited about the in-state talent that Ohio State is recruiting as well.
Absolutely, we are. Thanks for joining on the YouTube chat, by the way, and corresponding with me and Bake on there for the Buckeye Show tonight. Yeah, I mean, who can't get excited for it? I mean, especially when you're talking about Tavian Sinclair, a guy like that who's one of the nation's best quarterbacks. He's from here. And one thing, me being an Ohio guy, I always stand on is we play real high school football here, and we develop talent here. And I know these warm weather states that people migrate to, and people go down there, and and all of a sudden they're from Florida. All of a sudden, you're from Texas. Your mom got a job here. We're grown here, and we're made here. These communities, these small towns, the traditions like a Pickerington we were mentioning, our traditions like Massillon and Canton and those Toledo communities that in Dayton community, Springfield and Aaron Scott, that just you come up as a kid in these high school communities playing football on the side, watching another big recruit, and then it's your turn. And so here in Ohio, we play real football and we develop it here, man.
Hey, and we talk about all this high-end talent that Ohio State's been recruiting. Sometimes it's an in-state guy that was the last recruit in the class, like a Troy Smith.
Yep.
That ends up being the star and winning a Heisman Trophy. Yeah, so you never really know. 24/7, though, they put out a list of some of the, I think it's the top 25 here, freshmen to watch this year in college football. And 2 Buckeyes made the list, and I'm sure everyone, no doubt, Jeremiah Smith. He's one.
Yeah.
He's one. He's the number one on the list, and he's a guy that man, we haven't seen it on the field yet, but we know he's going to be an absolute dog at the wide receiver position. The next top guy at the wide receiver position, we think.
Yeah, no, yeah. And it's been showing all spring. I mean, the dude has had practices to where, he dominated. But in saying that, I do want to give our defensive back room credit because those were practices that everybody saw, those highlights. So they're not necessarily playing through the ball. They're not trying to go to the ground, break a pass up going to the ground. And so a lot of those highlights were great plays. But you kind of saw what happened in the spring game when they were like, okay, all right, seatbelts are off. I'm sorry, rails are off and the seatbelts are on in terms of what the defense. You see the move, Bake, when they put the seatbelt on, they put you in the seatbelt, they put you in a car seat, and it was a lot of strapping going on. It was a lot of belts being buckled during the spring game. So I do think he will be good, and I do think he really helped our defensive back room get ready for this season. But, man, I mean, the talent is there. The plays jump off of the screen.
No one's going to be surprised if he ends up being the number 2 receiver on this team as a true freshman behind Emeka Egbuka. Here's what 24/7 Sports had to say about Jeremiah Smith. He isn't the first heralded 5-star freshman wideout to jump off the page early at Ohio State and certainly won't be the last. But the buzz surrounding the top player in the 2024 recruiting cycle mirrors the sound of twin F-18s streaking through the air over Columbus. Smith showed up with a body that looked like he was ready for Ohio State's pro day, not his first collegiate practice. His wide range of skills were on display throughout the spring against a secondary that was among college football's stingiest last fall and will be again this year, and it is deep. Smith is ready to be an impact player from day one when Ohio State opens the season. That's no surprise to us. We've been hearing it since he stepped on campus.
Yeah, no, we've been hearing it, and we've been seeing it. I went over there for a spring practice and saw, all I needed to see on, maybe 2 or 3 plays, and you're like, okay, he's a dude.
The next one is interesting to me. He comes in at number 21, and it's Julian Sayin. He's the number 20 overall recruit, the number 3 quarterback prospect in this freshman class. Signed out of the transfer portal after initially making things official with Alabama, Sayin gave Ohio State's offensive staff something to think about during spring after holding his own in the quarterback competition despite the logjam at the position. Kansas State transfer Will Howard is the projected starter, but Sayin isn't far behind him.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, sorry, Devere, that he's on this list because he's probably not going to play a lot. But if Ohio State comes out with a killer instinct and just wants to bury people and prove a point in those first 3 games of the year, I'm hoping we actually get to see a lot of Julian Sayin in the second halves to, 1, give this kid a taste of college football action, and 2, to see what he's got.
Yeah, okay. In terms of the most impactful position on one of the most important college teams in the 2024 season is Ohio State's quarterback position. And for you to say that a freshman has already worked his way into the conversation as a starter, he's had more of an impact than Jeremiah Smith right now because he's in that conversation as a potential starter, or at least pushing the starters in somewhat way with his performance in the spring. And so, Bake, I mean, I think this list is accurate when you're talking about his impact as a freshman. It's already being felt. And the thing on top of that is this is the longest college football season in college football history. These are the most games that these colleges have played to this point. And so you talk about a situation like the game that I don't like to mention that never happened. That happened. I think that it starts with
stricken from the record.
The Lawton Bowl or something like that. You know, the Cotton Bowl. You look at the Cotton Bowl and you go into a situation like that. If we had a guy like Julian Sand that pushed people in the spring that was prepared to play in that game, nothing against Lincoln Kingholz and his development, but a guy that's already in conversation, and he was still supposed to be in high school. If he was thrusting into that position, what could have happened? And so with this season being late in the year, somebody, God prevent any injuries, but they happen. It's football. It's 100% injury rate. You got a guy that's ready, and he does have a potential to be an impactful freshman. I agree with it.
And, hey, in those first 3 games of the season, I hope we see all the quarterbacks. I hope we see Will Howard play great, him or Devin Brown, regardless of who the starter is. Mm-hmm. And then I hope the other gets time. I hope Julian Saying gets time. I hope we see more Lincoln Kingholz, because I think he's a young guy. There's still a lot of potential there. And, heck, maybe even get some Aaron Nolan, depending on what they want to do with him, red shirt or not. Let's get these guys some game action, get them ready, and let them see, because you never know what's coming down the road. If you remember, Ohio State had to win a national championship with their third-string quarterback one year. So
1 year they did. And by the way, just a side note, Julian Sand reminds me of Elijah Wood from The Hobbit sometimes when I look at him. And I love you, bro, but, I got to give you some freshman ribbon,
We're going to take a little break from the Buckeye football talk. We'll talk about the college football world in general. It's the College Football Pulse next, coming up, hour number 2, the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Common Man here. Let me tell you about my new friends, Sell for 1% Realtors. This is a new company for me. They were interested in working with me, so they went for a CAT scan. When that passed, I needed to meet the family to see what they were all about, if they were a good fit. And when I say meet the family, I mean it. Sell for 1% is totally family-run right here in Columbus. The premise is almost too good to be true. They sell your house for 1% commission, not 6%. That's it. And they do everything you'd expect from the 6% people. This is full service, not a discount service. Here's how they do it. Technology has made the realtor's job easier, from taking photos to signing documents on your phone, but their prices have remained the same, even though the realtor's not putting in the same time they used to. Sell for 1% passes the savings on to you because they know you're going to be impressed with the service and then tell people about it. On average, customers save over $10,000 in commissions. I didn't know about these guys 10 years ago. Don't be stupid like me and pay more than you have to. If you're selling, give my guys a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
And now we're on our way with Coda, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Whether it's game day or every day, Coda moves Buckeyes fans down the line toward victory. Download the Transit app today for an easy way to plan and pay for your next trip. Visit coda.com/transit app to learn more.
It's no fun to get blindsided. That's why you need to know what's coming in Ohio Medicaid.
Championship quarterback Cardale Jones.
Recent changes in Ohio Medicaid could impact you. If your information isn't up to date, you can lose your health insurance. Call the Ohio Department of Medicaid so you don't have to scramble to stay insured.
Call 800-324-8680. A public health message from CareSource.
That's what I call forward progress.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Jimmy walks up to the line. His credit card debt is calling a blitz. He signals to Upstart.com for an audible. Final play. Pike. Jimmy drops back. In a flash, he cuts over to a streaking Upstart.com with a no-cost rate check on a personal loan. He's wide open. An easy toss for Jimmy by finding a great rate in minutes. He applies, he's approved, and touchdown.
Tackle your credit card debt with a personal loan. Check your rate at Upstart.com today. That's Upstart.com. Loans are made by Upstart Lending Partners. Loan terms will be determined based on credit, income, and other information provided in your application. Not all applicants will be approved.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good evening. I'm Buddy Wells. Starting with baseball, Andrew McCutcheon hit a 2-run blast, and Graham Ashcraft allowed 6 runs in 5 innings as the Pirates beat the Reds 6-1 earlier today. Cincinnati drops 2 of their 3-game set against Pittsburgh. Next up, the Redlegs will play the first of 4 in St. Louis tomorrow night against the Cardinals. As for the Guardians, they aim for an 8th win in a row tonight as they wrap up their 3-game set in Baltimore. That game got underway just a little bit ago. Right now, they are scoreless in the top of the 2nd inning. In the NBA, the good news continues to pour in for the Knicks as OG Anunoby plans to sign a 5-year, $212 million deal to return to New York. The deal does include a player option in year 5. And tonight we have the first round of the NBA draft. Things will get started in about an hour at 8 o'clock at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Atlanta owns the top pick tonight in the draft. The Cavs are slated to pick at number 20. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. Need heating, cooling, plumbing, or electric? Call a carpenter.
Welcome in hour number 2 on this DeVere Day. It is the Buckeye Show. Glad to have you along. Ryan Baker in for the vacationing Timmy Hall. DeVere Posey to my right, and the man you heard on the update there, Bodie Wells. Boatman, it is your time to shine. Take us through a tour of the college football world.
All right, guys, we did the Big Ten a couple nights ago. I think we did it on Monday night when Austin was in here. We'll do the SEC tonight. Over-under picks for win totals. Not going to read through all the conference because is anybody too locked into the Vanderbilt over-under wins? If you are, stick around actually in an hour. Scotty Vegas might have you on that one. So we'll go through the top handful of teams here. Alabama, they went over 9.5. Florida, this one, under on 4.5. They are going to be looking for a new head coach if Florida wins 4 games or less this year in year 3 of Billy Napier. Georgia, over 10.5. LSU, over 9.5. You'll notice a trend here for some of the overs. Missouri, over 9.5. Ole Miss, over 9.5. Tennessee, over 9.5. Texas, over 10.5. And then they did have Oklahoma at under 7.5. Another kind of ugly one there. If Brent Venables goes 7-5 or worse year 3 there at the Sooners. Year 1 in the SEC, that could be ugly. But as I look at it, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas, all at 10 or 11 wins. If that's the case, there's going to be a lot of SEC teams in this first year of the 12-team playoff.
There is, but I cannot get over this Florida thing, Bodie. 4.5 wins, and they have them as under. What in the hell is going on at Florida? They are better than that, DeVere.
Yeah, I just feel like if I were to pick 2 teams and kind of go them head-to-head, I would say, for some reason, buddy, I just believe Florida has a potential to have a better surprise season, I guess, if they're at 4.5 than Missouri will. I think Missouri has a lot of hype, and I don't really feel as though they have as much talent as Florida. And Florida has a lot of big-time opportunities that they might
a just monster schedule.
They might be able to upset somebody if they're playing okay. So,
I mean, that just wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a team that was beating Ohio State for national championships. They had Tim Tebow. I mean, Florida, as long as I can remember, has always been one of the best programs in the country. And for them to have a possible 4-win season, that just doesn't compute in my brain.
Yeah, and it's more than anything just how crowded this league is, and it's just really about the comps that they're going against. I mean, they had, like Bodie said, monster schedule, a lot of teams in the top 10. Then you add a good Texas team in there, and then a pretty solid Venables-coached Oklahoma Sooners team. It's going to be a gauntlet down there.
I'll tell you another one here that I'm looking at, and I think maybe they have it wrong, but man, they got a tough schedule as well. And all these losses, I don't know if I can see them reversing it, but Kentucky at under 6.5. Mark Stoops is a pretty good head coach.
Yeah.
They've got Brock Vandergriff coming in, who was a big-time recruit at Georgia at the quarterback position. We know Chip Trainum will be down there running the football for them. And as I look at their recruiting stuff, they, especially in the state of Ohio, come in and do a good job. They've got a lot of Ohio kids committed on that team. Vince Morrow comes up here and does a great job in the state of Ohio. We talked about Preston Bowman. He committed there to Kentucky before he got his offer from Ohio State. Georgia, Ole Miss, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, and Texas are their losses. If Florida's that bad, I don't know if they're beating Kentucky. I just feel like Kentucky is going to maybe be a thorn in the side of a couple of those teams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. But I can't get over this Florida stuff and Billy Napier. I thought they've been building some momentum, especially since, Anthony Richardson and the team and the talent they've had there. Ricky
DJ
Pearsall.
Lagway, freshman coming in, a big-time quarterback recruit.
Yeah. So, they could be a surprise team, Bodie. So, but, Vegas might be wrong.
Yeah, the one thing that jumps out to me, I think, the most would be the Oklahoma one. We had this discussion not too long ago. I think it was Tito. I can't remember if you were to hear, DeVere, or if it was Tyvis. And we were just talking about Oklahoma going to the SEC. And I kind of brought it up. I'm not saying it'll be 100% this bad, but you look at what happened to Nebraska basically ever since they joined the Big Ten. If I was an Oklahoma fan, I would be kind of terrified about how that could be. I don't think they'll fall that far, but for Oklahoma, their expectation is 10-plus wins and to make the playoff. Hell, they made it 4 or 5 times in the 4-team format.
You're paying your coach for that right now.
Exactly.
Just read up his deal, man.
And if you, like I said, I don't think they'll fall as far as Nebraska kind of has in the last couple decades, and especially since they've joined the Big Ten. But if they're going 8-4, 9-3, that's a huge disappointment for the Sooners fans. And if they go under the 7.5, obviously 7.5 is even worse than 8-4, 9-3. So I wonder if Oklahoma could be in for a little bit of a rude awakening as they join the SEC.
Well, let me ask you this, Bodie. If they have a 9-3 loss to Alabama, lost to Texas, lost to LSU, is this a playoff team in today's world?
It's probably, you'd probably have to tell me what else happened at the teams that are at 11, 12, 13, 14, right? Because that 9-3 is going to be, in the SEC and Big Ten, is going to be pretty strong and probably much stronger than maybe even a 10-2 ACC or Big 12. But I think it'd be probably a coin flip at that point.
But a 9-3 Oklahoma team that lost to the nation's top 5 teams.
I know.
To a number 6 Utah on the road for a playoff game.
Oh, I'm in for that. Yeah, no question about that. Yeah.
Talking about 3 lost teams in a college football playoff is just so gross to me.
It's
so
okay.
Gross
That's
to me.
the word. It's okay. It's okay.
I still think we could have capped it at 8. I still think 8 would have been a pretty clean number there.
I think 4 was pretty good.
I liked 4 too. Honestly, they didn't even need to expand. I'm with you on that.
12.
All right, guys, we'll move on to this one here. Phil Steele, who is kind of the expert of the experts in college football. So he put out his surprise teams list for this season. We have 10 teams here. It was ranked 10-1 on the list, but I don't know if he specifically had it in that order or if it was just 10 teams in general. But 10-1 here, SMU, Virginia Tech, LSU, Iowa, Big Ten school there, Kansas State, Miami, and then Oklahoma State, Florida State, Clemson, and Utah. So anybody jump out on that list in particular?
Yes, sir. My Cam Ward Hurricanes. I am all in for Cristobal and what they have going down there, and also picking up that Oregon State running back. I just believe this team is not being talked about enough. Cam Ward was on the hinges as far as, hey, am I going to the league? Am I going to the portal? And he decided to go to Miami and surprised everybody in the portal world. And that Coral Gables NIL money reeled them in. So I'm excited for that team. They jump off the board to me. And Utah, too. Yep.
So I think this is kind of weird because what are we considering a surprise? Because I think for what Miami has been, they would be a surprise, yes. And Cam Ward and Mario Cristobal. And, Mario Cristobal just seems like a fit there. And
a surprise?
They've been down recently. But, like, Iowa being a surprise, I don't think that's a surprise. Like, they're going to be what Iowa is.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
probably
every
expectation. Like, if you look at this list, Florida State and Clemson, a surprise would probably be like 11-1. Iowa might be more 9-3, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not even a surprise because to me, that's what Iowa is. And they've got an experienced quarterback who may be limited, but Cade McNamara's experience.
Yeah.
Kansas State, they are the co-favorites to win the Big 12.
Yeah.
So
Them and Utah,
and Utah too. Like Utah, I just expect them to be good every year now.
Would you say Miami is a favorite to win the ACC?
No, they're not.
Yeah,
and a lot of
yeah,
people are talking about them. Oklahoma State, same thing, kind of like Iowa. Like they're 8-4, 9-3, 10-2 every year. Like we know what they are. Florida State. Thought they should have been in the playoff last year. Are they a surprise this year? I mean, they bring in an experienced quarterback in DJ Uyunglele.
Is he good, though?
Again, maybe not. But would
is
it be
him or is it all these schools?
Is it a surprise if Florida State wins the ACC?
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't think so. Now, like SMU, a lot of people are talking about them, and they're going to be good. If they win the ACC, now that's a surprise. So I get that. Virginia Tech has been down recently. So if they do something this year, that'll be a surprise. Some of these teams, though, I don't know if I think they're surprises.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, but it's also big, though. Like, we got to kind of take out, like, tradition and where we've seen these teams perform. And just as of recent, Miami surging back, Utah surging. So I'm with you, man. But
Utah has a 27-year-old playing quarterback this year.
Cam Rising's been there for a minute.
Been there for forever. So, and I like Cam Rising, man. I mean, he played against CJ. CJ's going to his second year in college.
Tough
in the
kid.
league. Yeah.
Wanted to hit on this Miami one a little bit more here, just looking at their schedule. So they do go to Florida to open the season, although once again, if Florida's as bad as CBS Sports thinks they're going to be at 4.5 wins, taking the under, that shouldn't be too bad. They avoid Clemson in the conference schedule there. They host Florida State. They do go to Louisville, and I think Louisville will be pretty good this year. But, yeah, very manageable. Also, I can't help but laugh when I still look at schedules like this, and I see Miami going to California on October 5th of 2024, and that'll be an ACC conference game.
It's almost like the Stanley Cup final we just had, going from the most northern team to it is pretty crazy that those are the conference games we have now. But I'm excited about that trip to Autzen, though. I know that much. So.
Oh, man, that place is going to be wild. And I don't know if Ohio State has played out there at all.
I don't think they have.
Yeah. I don't know if we did. Wait, we did a home and away with CJ. Did we do a home and away? No, they canceled one.
They canceled the one because of COVID, I believe.
Canceled
the trip
one 'cause
out
of COVID.
there.
Yeah, so it's going to be crazy. Yeah, I want to see how they tailgate out there. I'm planning to make the trip.
Florida and Cal, though. Yeah, Miami and Cal. Doesn't seem like there's much of a rivalry there for a conference game at all. Hey, the Ohio State football sidelines this year just got a lot more crowded. We'll tell you about it next. Ryan Baker in for Timmy Hall. He's DeVere Posey. It's the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment, the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S. The versatile lineup is built to help you make the most of your land. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months, plus save up to $800 on qualifying implements. Now through October 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Hello, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletic Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donatos, Huntington, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, and 10TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in the great state of Ohio through our Buckeyes Care initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag Buckeyes Care.
Jimmy walks up to the line. His credit card debt is calling a blitz. He signals to Upstart.com for an audible. Final play. Bike. Jimmy drops back. In a flash, he cuts over to a streaking Upstart.com with a no-cost rate check on a personal loan. He's wide open. An easy toss for Jimmy by finding a great rate in minutes. He applies. He's approved. And touchdown.
Tackle your credit card debt with a personal loan. Check your rate at upstart.com today. That's upstart.com. Loans are made by Upstart Lending Partners. Loan terms will be determined based on credit, income, and other information provided in your application. Not all applicants will be approved.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
Hi, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Director of Athletics. Ohio State Athletics and Cardinal Health know how important diversity, equity, and inclusion are to the success of our community, employees, and student athletes. And we believe an equitable culture creates a community that attracts and retains the very best. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeye-inclusion to learn more and join us as we educate and celebrate the value of diversity and inclusion.
And now we're on our way with Coda, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Whether it's game day or every day, Coda moves Buckeyes fans down the line toward victory. Download the Transit app today for an easy way to plan and pay for your next trip. Visit coda.com/transit app to learn more.
Want to see some football players try to play softball? Join us for Schmidt's Cardale Jones Charity Softball Game.
Why picnic when you can Schmidtnick? And presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. The Fan.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
New 2024, up to 72 months Aria, N7A24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take your Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But these low interest rates won't last long. Lock in your 0% financing at Reichert Nissan. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. Residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of clouds and showers and storms. Some can be strong on this Wednesday evening. Temperatures holding just shy of 80 degrees. Showers and storms out early tonight. Clear skies back in by Thursday morning. A cool and comfortable start and a pleasant finish. Light winds, low humidity, and plenty of sunshine Thursday afternoon with highs in the low 80s. With your Doppler 10 forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Scarlet and Gray 24/7 or however long the show is tonight. You're listening to the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We are less than a month away from the Schmidt's Cardale Jones Celebrity Softball Game. Why picnic when you can Schmidtnick? It's presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. It all goes down Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park. 6:30 p.m. the start time. The former Ohio State football players, like my friend DeVere Posey here, led by Cardale Jones, will take on the current Ohio State football players. They are led by Captain Emeka Egbuka. Tickets, they are just $10, and they are available now at BuckeyeCruise.com. DeVere, you got less than a month to get ready to be on that outfield grass at Huntington Park.
Well, Beck, my self-proclaimed nickname is Born Ready.
Born Ready. I feel like Tyvis said that same thing last night when I was trying to get him ready for this.
I was born ready. I was born ready to compete, and I'll be ready in a month.
And no doubt you will be.
I'll be ready.
And do you get excited for that? Like, how do you feel about that event and getting to see your former players and build that camaraderie with the newer players and all of that. What is that night like for you?
It's actually fun just because, pulling up to the stadium, going to a locker room, seeing your jersey hanging up, that's just a cool experience. It's just a cool experience. And just to do it, I think last year I had this thought. I'm sitting out there, and I'm looking at the crowd. I'm looking at the kids, outside the stadium, just trying to catch the fly balls coming out. And I'm like, man, what alumni from a college can go downtown and have an event versus the current players and it be this successful? That's just how special Ohio State is, and just for it to be such a big deal. And I love what Cardell and the Buckeye Cruise puts on, and the foundation, and just the program that they put together, because it's a real shot at reality that, wow, this is a special place. So for me, I appreciate it, and it's a good time, man.
You get nervous at all?
Absolutely not. I was made for lights. No.
Right.
I'm getting no nerve. For what?
I love that confidence. I mean, you're a Grey Cup MVP. You shouldn't be, but
man.
Football is what you did. This is something different.
It's something different. But you know what? They whooped us pretty good. And honestly, I blame Cardell. Like, Cardell, you know it. Because you just made a whack batting lineup. Like, you got to have the power hitters. Like, come on, Dale. Like, and then also, they fixed the game for these guys. Like if their life isn't easy enough. They fixed the game for these guys. They had these weird little plays where you could, get points on the board. And it was just everything was in their favor. I just hope this year they just make it even and straight. Like, no little weird games. Allow it to be straight up.
I already inadvertently picked on you a little bit, so I don't want to get on you too much here, but this sounds like excuses to me. I don't know. I'm just saying it sounds like excuses.
It's just, you know what it is? It's just this, what are these guys, Gen Z or something? They're soft, man. Like, they're just trying to fix it for them, man. It's okay. Like, we don't want to hurt their feelings by really beating them. And if we beat them, I'm sorry. It's okay, but I just want it fair and square. That's all.
Again, it's Saturday, July 20th over at Huntington Park. BuckeyeCruise.com. You can get your tickets right now for just $10. Yesterday, the NCAA's Division I Council, DeVere, voted to approve a rule change permitting any staff member to provide technical and tactical instruction on college football teams. This change became final today, and it is effective immediately. So FBS teams are still only allowed to have 11 coaches, the one head coach, the 10 assistants that are allowed to travel and recruit players. But grad assistants, other kind of assistants, analysts now, all of them are able to be on the sidelines on game day or up in the box on game days coaching players. Do you like this?
Yeah, I love it. I think just being able to have more coaching staff, available for these players just helps us. And then, and honestly, just being able to have more support for the coaches, when in terms of, you think about everything that's on their plate recruiting wise, right? You factor in travel, you factor in now NIL negotiations, and you factor in the fact that you have to recruit your own players against the transfer portal or go in the portal and find what you need. You need more people on staff for skill development. You need more people on staff for on-field drills, just having more hands on deck to help this team just become what they're supposed to become and not just expect one position coach to get all of these wide range of things done. It just makes sense to me, Bake.
Yeah, I think it works. It's also going to give a lot more guys chances, to prove that they could be assistant coaches or head coaches somewhere else, coordinators, whatever. Ohio State has 4 grad assistants. They were already helping in practice, but they'll be allowed to coach now on the game days. Their analyst, Tim Drebno, who they brought in, who was a former UCLA offensive line coach and a Michigan offensive coordinator. He was hired as a quality control coach this past offseason, so he can be down there helping the offense. Former Ohio State wide receiver Devin Jordan, he's in his 3rd year as a program assistant. And this one here, I think, might be key. We heard a lot right before James Laurinaitis was hired as the last official assistant. Are they going to bring in a guy that can deal with special teams.
Yep.
Well, now former Findlay head coach Rob Keyes, he will lead Ohio State's special teams coaching effort along with program assistant Gunnar Daniel. So maybe they kind of knew this was coming and didn't hire a guy to specifically work with the special teams because they already had this in place, and if it was coming, they had it figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something like this has been in the works. So that's actually awesome, man. I mean, it's a good thing for us, Bake. And I think something like this moving forward will allow like more former players and guys to really tap back into the university at other places too, right? In a smaller role and kind of work your way up to a position coach, offensive coordinator. It helps with the coaching development as well.
Ohio State could now have more than 25 coaches coaching players during practices and games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the sideline is a hectic place.
Yeah.
Are these extra people going to make it more crazy, or is it already crazy enough?
Oh, no. It's definitely a pecking order on who speaks, who makes what decision. Okay. It's not like it's going to be like 20 people saying, throw the challenge flag. No.
Back when you were playing at Ohio State, did you guys have this many program assistants, quality control coaches, guys like this?
No. It was that quality control position really started taking a life of its own, like on my way out, like where you saw like former head coaches taking positions, like, the whole Nick Saban, Mike Locksley, Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin kind of, job description that they got there. I think that really got put into play. Like, honestly, it got abused at that time. And now, like, something like this, you don't really have to, like, shape and bend the rules as much to get, more football minds in the building.
So you guys pretty much just had your 11 coaches, your one head coach and your assistant head coaches, and that was it?
Yep.
No grad assistants or?
No grad assistants in the room with us. It was just really like, coaches had like help, on the field, like a guy who was in college, working for the team, working for a position group specifically, but no GAs as much as, with like former head coaching experience or like former coaching experience at another level.
It's crazy how much college football has changed in just the past couple of years, but you're a guy that you didn't play that long ago, and the game is like a totally different game now than when you played.
I know, man. I mean, and I saw something interesting. It was they're taking cannabis off the NCAA banned substance list, and so you think about how much they're paying these guys. And not to say that every college player, indulges in that, but hey, we're paying these guys. These guys are playing. And so even the game has changed from that standpoint, Bacon. It's something that I marvel at, and I am all for the change and just getting with the times. And I think it's just something that we as fans just have to let go of the tradition and let go of what we are used to and just kind of embrace this new college football for what it is.
So you're saying I have to get used to 3 lost teams winning a national championship?
Potentially. I mean, shoot, did Connecticut lose 3 times this past year? I don't know.
I hate it. Can't stand it. What I do love, though, is the talent of this Ohio State wide receiver room. But we haven't seen a lot of production on the field from this group yet. DeVere will break down this wide receiver room for this upcoming season for Ohio State. Next, it's the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Don't miss the Jeep Make This the Summer event, where right now, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,537 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/1/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Hey, what's up, Buckeye Nation? It's Cardale Jones. Join me Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park for the Smiths Cardale Jones charity softball game presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. Come check out former Buckeye greats take on this year's current Buckeye stars such as Emeka Ibuka, Jaden Ballard, and many more. Come see and meet the Buckeyes before they hit the field this fall. Gates open at 5 p.m. Contests and prizes all night long. Home run derby at 6:30 and the game to follow. Tickets available at BuckeyeCruise.com. Why pick Nick when you can Smith Nick? Get your $10 tickets now at BuckeyeCruise.com.
At Meijer, we know there's nothing better than celebrating together and saving with fresh summer deals. Now through Saturday, get juicy sweet large seedless watermelon for $2.99 or sweet corn 5 for $1. Even tasty pork back ribs are just $2.99 per pound. You'll find even more fresh deals on crowd favorites like fresh from Meijer 8-inch fruit pies for $4.99 and Meijer chicken wings for $2.49 per pound. Shop these fresh summer deals at Meijer before they're gone. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Raising Cane's Iced Tea is the official iced tea of me, Iced Tea. Now, I heard some people order their box combos with water. Listen, water is for fishes and snitches, Jack. Chill out with Cane's Iced Tea this summer. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Morning Juice.
Did your mom used to tell you to rub butter on burns?
Better yet, Bob, she rubbed it on there for us.
Oh.
That was the elixir back in the day. Is that a real thing?
That's a real thing.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
The best of rivals. The best of two leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The two teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best. But unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month. And the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Hello, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletic Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donatos, Huntington, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, and 10TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in the great state of Ohio through our Buckeyes Care initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag Buckeyes Care.
Marathon has some great news about the number 5, so I'm going to say it 5 times in 5 different ways.
Join Marathon Rewards and earn up to $5 in rewards on your first visit. Join and earn 5 cents in rewards for every gallon you buy.
Join in as little as 5 seconds.
Join to make 5 friends jealous. Join and get high fives.
It's easy to sign up at the station or go to marathonrewards.com. By joining with your phone number, you are agreeing to receive recurring automated informational marketing SMS/MMS messages from Marathon. Consent not required for purchase. Messaging and data rates may apply.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource. Proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just counting down the days to March Madness. Back to the Buckeye Show.
Welcome back in. Ryan Baker in for Timmy Hall. It's a DeVere day, so the grade 8 DeVere Posey is in here as well. Bodie Wells on the other side of the glass. Glad to have you joining us on this hump day. DeVere, we've talked a lot about this Buckeye team tonight and how talented it is. And actually, for the most part, it's a pretty experienced team. But one of those positions that isn't very experienced as far as in-game action is the wide receiver group. Now, I don't think any of us are worried about this wide receiver group because it is so talented. But outside of Emeka Ibuka, your next most experienced guy is Carnell Tate, who was a freshman last year. And then behind him, there's really not a lot of experience. We know Brandon Ennis had one catch last year and went 58 yards for a touchdown. But that's really it. There's no more Marvin Harrison Jr. There's no more Julian Fleming here. Jaden Ballard, we've seen some game action from, but for the most part, we don't know what we're going to get from this wide receiver room. Now, Emeka's the unquestioned number one. He's 1,042 yards away from becoming Ohio State's all-time leading receiver. He's number 17 on that list right now. He's a stud. Like, this guy could be first-team All-American and number one draft pick, that first-round draft pick next year.
Yeah, well, let's go through the list, Bake. And the thing about it is I wanted to give everybody in the spirit of the college football game, we're going to give these guys titles. And as we kind of break down the scouting report for these guys and what to expect from this group, from my perspective, for Emeka Egbuka, I mean, he's the vet by all means. He's the legacy player in this group. He's seeking all-time status and has an opportunity to do that with about just a little bit about over 1,000 yards. And so with a healthy year and healthy opportunities, and a lot of opportunities in this pass-heavy offense, Emeka Egbuka can reach legacy status. Carnell Tate, my number 2, who I have him as the sophomore sensation. We're talking about a guy who has the opportunity to develop this offseason, right? Like, he makes some small tweaks there in his game, and he has an opportunity to absolutely shine. About 2 years ago, we were talking about a sophomore by the name of Marvin Harrison Jr., who really just had a Rose Bowl to back his playing time. And we were saying how great of a recruit this guy is going to be. Carnell Tate is a big-time recruit, and he is a big-time player just waiting for his opportunity to pop this season. Jeremiah Smith, everybody in America knows about him. He's the number 1 freshman in terms of, high school recruits and freshman potential impact. I think that a guy like him, Big, he adds pressure to everybody in the room. Everybody wakes up in that wide receiver room thinking about, what is this guy about to do next? How much is he about to eat up my playing time? He has all the potential in the world, and I think he will fulfill it. Look at a guy like, Brandon Ennis. Health was a problem this spring, but for him also problems were opportunities. He's a question mark guy to me. I want to see more from him, but on top of anything, he has a special energy about him. He has that infectious personality, and you kind of can see his shine, and I want to see how that translates to the game. Jaden Ballard, unfortunately, he's the potential guy, potential to be fulfilled, a little bit like a Julian Fleming in that kind of role. But the thing that I think that makes Jaden Ballard different is he's okay with his role as special teams, and he does perform there. And he might just be in a crowded room to where at the next level he might shine. A Rod Smith type of situation where he was in a crazy room. He sat behind Carlos Hyde, and then he sat behind Ezekiel Elliott, and then goes to the Cowboys and has like a 6-7 year career in the league. I think Jaden Ballard is sort of in that type of, just bad timing situation where the beginning of your college career is behind guys like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison, and then the end of your college career is behind Emeka Egbuka, Jeremiah Smith, and those kind of guys. You think about a guy like Bryson Rogers, big
speed.
He's the surprise player in this room. Entered the portal, took his name out. We had to re-recruit him. He's one of these in-house portal recruits that you had to keep here. Popped off the screen this spring. Had a great spring. He has size. He has speed. And by all means, he gives me like Noah Brown vibes. Like, he's just that kind of player. And then Mylan Graham.
And he is just now getting to campus. He's a 5-star in this freshman class, but he is a little behind the 8 ball here in the fact that he's just getting in.
But the thing about Mylan Graham, he's a 5-star recruit. He might be in the category of just getting overshadowed by Jeremiah Smith. But you're talking about big-time talent. You're talking about being able to run after the catch. You're talking about an Indiana football player. You know what Indiana football players are? They are competitors. And who he gives me vibes on is Terry McLaurin. I get Terry McLaurin comps from this guy. I just believe he will come in with that same mindset of, I'm here to compete. I'm here to get better. And, yeah, I know I committed to the school that had the number 1 player, but what does that mean to me? I'm going to show my stuff, too.
I love that you do that and you kind of compare them to guys that we've seen because I do the same thing. As I look at these guys, I have different guys that I compare them to. This next guy here, I put him on there because he's another incoming freshman.
You like this guy.
I love him.
Yes,
That's why I put him here.
Yes.
He's recruited as a tight end, and he's just getting to campus. I'm a big believer that this guy will not play tight end at Ohio State.
Army All-America MVP, huh?
I think he's that good at receiver, and that's DeMario Whitten. When you go watch high school games, you can tell when players are really good. To me, there's very few times when I watch a high school game, though, where I'm like, wow, that guy is just different. And DeMario Whitten was that kind of guy to me.
He was that kind of different.
He was just unguardable for Cleveland Glenville this past year. And he is a guy, we heard Ryan Day on signing day talking about him saying, we recruited him as a tight end. We're not sure he's going to be a tight end, especially right away, because he's going to have to get bigger. He's sick. Not that he's not a big guy. He's 6'4", 215 pounds right now. I mean, he's a man.
Yeah.
But I just think he's too good as a receiver. I don't think, unless he just ends up getting, he continues to grow and his body gets way bigger, I think he's going to contribute in this wide receiver.
Yeah, no, I mean, Cleveland Glenville product, obviously he has a legacy to live up to, just being a tar blooder there. But like we were saying, man, Heartline is the type of coach that can develop this type of player. You put him in that environment, you put, just where he comes from, an Ohio guy, understands what the rivalry is about, understands what it means to go to wide receiver U. This guy will have that energy to get better. And Army All-American MVP, DeMario Whitten. So he will be a name that Ohioans should be talking about.
We have all these guys. It's an embarrassment of riches in the wide receiver room, and it has been for the past few years. With Chip Kelly coming in, though, and Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, are there going to be enough footballs for all of these guys this year?
Yeah, there's only one football, but, with Chip Kelly, he has a healthy mix of run and pass, and with these quarterbacks, there will be big play opportunities. I just think it won't be a plethora of targets like we've seen in the past. I mean, you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., the dude averaged 10-plus targets. That's crazy. And I just believe this wide receiver group should probably wrap their minds around, I might get 3 chances. I might get 4. But every opportunity that I get, because it's so spread out and because there's so much talent, I need to take advantage. I might need to take this slant 60. I might need to take this in route, this 15-yard in route, and go pick up 15 more. Or I need to catch this 50-50 ball because I might not know when I get another one. And just having that mindset for this group, there's still yards to be had. There's still big play potential to be had. Now, you got to capitalize. It might not be as many opportunities big, but we're just entering a different offensive era here.
It's kind of funny that I feel like people are sleeping on Emeka Egbuka a little bit because last year he had some injuries he dealt with. He didn't have the numbers that he did the year before, plus Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham, Jeremiah Smith. J.J. Smith's getting all the hype in this receiver room. But Emeka's a guy that 2 years ago, Marvin Harrison had 77 catches. Emeka had 74. Marvin Harrison had 1,263 yards. Emeka was right behind him with 1,151 yards. Marvin had 14 touchdowns. Emeka had 10. Like, people forget, I think, how good this guy is. And I think he is just driven this year to have a monster year.
Yeah, and then when you're a senior, too, and you have the experience, the game just slows all the way down. You see things at another pace. You can implement certain things. There's no fear. There's preparation. He has a routine. And so those things start to shine as a senior at the college level. And you just look at some receivers that come back for their senior year in college football and just how they dominate. And Emeka Egbuka has that opportunity this year.
What is the social media world saying about the Buckeyes? We will wrap up the Buckeye Show next with some hashtag Buckeyes. It's 97.1 The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan. They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices. And when you download the Kroger app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. And with a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. So you can always save big every day with our savings and rewards. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Extreme Limo is proud to be Central Ohio's first choice for luxury transportation. Serving our community since 2006, Extreme Limo has a full range of luxury cars, limos, and party buses for every occasion. And now offering you the new officially licensed Ohio State bus. You can travel in scarlet and gray style to your next game, wedding, or special event. Celebrate life and stretch the limit. Call Extreme Limo at 614-483-3300 to book today or visit extremelimo.com. That's XTREME limo.com.
Hi, I'm Gene Smith, Senior Vice President and Director of Athletics. Ohio State Athletics and Cardinal Health know how important diversity, equity, and inclusion are to the success of our community, employees, and student athletes. And we believe an equitable culture creates a community that attracts and retains the very best. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeye-inclusion to learn more and join us as we educate and celebrate the value of diversity and inclusion.
One of the most important Buckeye football seasons ever is coming. The Fan is your home for all the news and interviews you need as fall camp approaches. Join us. We're a friendly bunch of degenerates. Your Buckeye station, The Fan.
Are you not able to enjoy the summer as much as you want because of joint pain? This is the time of year for being outdoors. It's the best, but not if your knees, shoulders, hips, or back are hurting. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's biologics and help restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk, run, hike, play golf, move, swim, all pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Sheencup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. They have locations in Columbus, in both Gahanna and Dublin. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. So go check them out at QCKinetics/Columbus or give them a call, 380-208-4544.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Trust the pros at The Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Visit thewaterworks.com today to get started.
Tavir, I always love going through Twitter during the day of doing a Buckeye show and just typing in #Buckeyes and going through it and just looking at all the things you see. And this one, I really like this one. This was from Bucknuts earlier today. The Buckeyes, the hashtag Buckeyes defensive line has scary potential in 2024. CBS Sports put out a list of the top 10 defensive line units this year, and the number one, according to them, in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I don't know if there's a true star at the next level on this defensive line, but I love how deep it is. And you've got 8 guys on this defensive line right now, and the 2 deep at least, that all could possibly play at least in the NFL. And I just think Jack Sawyer's poised for a big year. We know JT, he wants to have a big year. And those guys in the middle, Ty Hamilton and Tyleik Williams, they're beasts in there.
Oh, man, hats off to Larry Johnson Sr. here again. Just, people, like you were saying, were kind of saying he was not living up to who he was or who he has been as a recruiter. And just to see him to be able to lock in some of the recruits he's gotten recently and to be touting the best defensive line in the country says everything about him as a developer, as a talent developer, and then also as a great head defensive line coach. And then also, man, you just talk about the players, the types of guys we got in this room, the types of guys who sacrifice, individual success to come back for the team's glory next year. I love this group, love JTT, love Jack Sawyer and the leaders that they have become, and Tyleik Williams, and they're going to lead this group again, babe.
And this was the top 10 in the Big Ten. Excuse me. I think I said country. It was in the Big Ten. Big Ten. Ohio State, if they're the top one in the Big Ten, they're going to be right there in the country rankings as well. And Michigan, they still have a pretty good defensive line coming back, led by their D tackles, Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. Yep. So if you have a D line that's ranked better than those guys, that's pretty good.
They got some game records. With national championship experience. So, yeah, and then, looking at some of these teams, man, Oregon, the Big Ten is very stacked in terms of just defensive talent, man. But, Baked, I got one, and I wanted to make sure we had time to talk about this because it's this guy named Pigskin Petey. He's a joke. He ranked the top college football atmospheres. So this is just game day experience, I suppose, or this is what it's like to go there. I don't know if this is concession stand rankings, but Pigskin Petey, take his handle, take his verified check. He has Cincinnati as number 1 in Ohio.
What?
He has San Diego State as number 1 in California. This guy is a joke. He has Wake Forest in North Carolina, and I'm trying to find another one that's pretty awkward. It looks like he doesn't have Iowa. He has Iowa State. So, I mean, I'll be honest, like, when you're talking about environment and game day atmospheres, Nippert Stadium? Bodie, Nippert Stadium? Are you serious?
The house that Brian Kelly built?
Over the shoe? This guy, Pigskin Petey, like, come on, like, just change your name. You're a clown, Petey. This is crazy.
Now, I think Nippert Stadium is great, and I love that, like, you can just walk in there at any time. It's part of the campus and all of that.
Because it's bad.
But come on. There's no way a Saturday at Nippert is anywhere close to a Saturday in the shoe.
Me and my brother got on the Metro 17, the bus 17, College Hill, went downtown, got off the bus, walked right in to the the Barrow. It was Ben Roethlisberger versus Miami Redhawks versus Cincinnati. We walked right in. Like this kind of atmosphere, can you just walk right in? Like come on, man, Baker. It's just this guy Pigskin Petey.
Get out of here, Pigskin Petey.
Come on, man.
Goodness gracious, what are we doing? Hey, a couple things I wanted to touch on before we got out of here, DeVere. Carmen's crew is back for another run in the TBT. It all gets underway on July 20th. Right now, confirmed former Buckeyes for Carmen's crew: Kyle Young, Andre Wesson, Caleb Wesson, Keyshawn Woods, and Evan Ravenel. 4 other guys that are going to be on the team: Bowling Green forward Scott Thomas, Boston College forward CJ Penna, Fairmont State guard Jamal Morris, and East Tennessee State guard DeSante Bradford. That's the 9 right now. They said there will be more added before the tournament starts. They'll be the 3 seed in the Dayton region, so they'll play their first games at Dayton Arena. So again, that gets underway for Carmen's crew on July 20th. That game will be broadcast at 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. One more thing here. The Ohio State Marching Band in Script, Ohio, is going to be a part of the new EA college football game. If that wasn't the case, something was wrong. We had to get rid of the game and get a new one because you got to have Script, Ohio in the game.
Absolutely, got to make the game. But just on the basketball tournament, Carmen's crew, we're entering another phase of Buckeye players playing in that. And thing that I love is how the Buckeye basketball alumni have just kind of passed this on to just another generation. And now the Wesson brothers are participating in this, like the Kyle Young, the Jared Sullinger, William Buford. Those guys have kind of moved on, and they're like, hey, man, pass it on to the next group, next generation. I love that.
What's going to be
thing, man.
What's going to be really weird, and he wasn't a Buckeye, but Jack Gibbs isn't going to be there. That's going to be weird not seeing Jack Gibbs there because he was a staple of a lot of those teams.
Yeah, man. It's such a cool thing, and I love how all the alumni from different schools kind of band together, and they bring their basketball family to Ohio to play in the summer, which is really cool.
Pretty cool. And then this is also cool. Ohio State golfer Neil Shipley, he's set to make his pro debut on the PGA Tour at the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Let's go.
This weekend, we saw what he did, the low amateur in the U.S. Open, the low amateur, or the low amateur at the PGA, the low amateur at the Masters. Very cool for Neil Shipley. He's going to start getting paid for some of these performances in these golf tournaments. DeVere, it has been fun. It'll be you and Tito rounding out the week the next 2 nights, so that'll be fun for the Buckeye Show listeners.
Absolutely. Had a great time.
Don't forget James Laurinaitis tomorrow. Man and Bone. He's filling in for Bone. That should be a good time as well. On the Money, coming up next, myself and Scotty Vegas. This has been the Buckeye Show. Thanks for listening on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
Marathon has some great news about the number 5, so I'm going to say it 5 times in 5 different ways.
Join Marathon Rewards and earn up to $5 in rewards on your first visit. Join and earn 5 cents in rewards for every gallon you buy.
Join in as little as 5 seconds.
Join to make 5 friends jealous. Join and get high fives.
It's easy to sign up at the station or go to marathonrewards.com. By joining with your phone number, you are agreeing to receive recurring automated informational marketing SMS/MMS messages from Marathon. Consent not required for purchase. Messaging and data rates may apply.
Libman makes a difference. The Libman Mock Crew is a part of our winning team. The Libman Mock Crew makes sure the hard-working savings clean for the players every game at the Schottenstein Center. No matter what kind of flooring you have at your home court, Libman has the tools to keep it clean. Our mops, brooms, and brushes are proudly family-made in the USA. Visit Libman.com to see our whole lineup and for a store locator. That's Libman.com. Libman, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Did the pandemic eliminate quality customer service? Well, many places it did, but not here at Heartland Bank. Imagine getting top quality service and good advice as well to help you down life's road. It's community banking, and it's alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb, CEO. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Fair banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store. You know, we do a segment on the show every week called Pressure, but that's about sports. What about the pressure your feet endure every day? I know mine did. When I went to the Good Feet store, I learned I was out of line. I joked, I already know that. They said, no, physically, my feet weren't being supported the right way. So when I went to the store on Polaris Parkway, they also have one on Stringtown Road, I took all the time I needed to walk around the store to see what felt and fit the best in my shoes. Once I had them in, my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store, my lower back pain went away. What a feeling. You need to get your free personalized fitting by one of their arch support specialists. For arch supports to be effective, they require a precision fit. That's why Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store. You like them? You can wear them home. You have nothing to lose but the pain. So go to goodfeet.com today or go in and try the Good Feet feeling. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief, all from the Good